All right. When we last left this group of mercenaries and adventurers, you had managed to were shown to your rooms, and each of you began to do your own things. Datura decided to, after uh, some time, after being shown to her room and told of the multiple services that are offered here on the ship, she decided to make her way to try to make some friends, and she did. She did, but it was.
Maybe not the friends she wants to have.
I mean, that's all to her, isn't it? I guess. I mean,
That's why I
yeah,
said maybe.
yeah, fair enough. My bad. Well, that being said, she managed to make an acquaintance of sorts in the form of one of apparently the cult leader's son, only son, mind you, named Ronaldo Quixote de Castillo. He has yet to actually reveal the actual, you know, identity of this cult that he's a part of, that he's been raised in, or what exactly they do, or how powerful they are, or anything of the sort. He doesn't, but he seems respectable enough, and
He's not actually part of a cult, is he?
he is.
Is.
Technically, officially, he is. So technically, yes. That's kind of whatever. Anyways, so you decided after the party had gone sour, after it looks like some inquisitors and probably a poorly or a poor musician were murdered, and before a very intimate get together was about to involve you and them, you and Ronaldo or anyone else, Ronaldo pulled you to the side and asked you like, "Hey, do you want to not be a part of this and just want to hang out?" To which, if I recall correctly, she said yes.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
We went to go play cards.
Yeah. Amongst other things like foosball and throw the axe at the tree, which is well, it's basically an axe throwing competition here on this dwarven ship. One of the things was getting to experience a little bit of dwarven history and culture. It's a very odd ship, but it's not that bad. And after that, Flint went out and remind me again, Lamchopper, what Flint did, because my brain is filled with what everyone else did, what the other group did, but my memory seems to be lacking in that area. Also, you're muted.
Last time I remember he chatted with his manager as he was debating whether or not to play. Other details are foggy at this particular moment in time because I think I just got to do that.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you want to speak with a excuse me. Huh. So you went and met up with Rainglow, the
Still
Raven folk.
the hippiest name I've ever heard.
It's his first name. He hasn't told you he hasn't revealed his family name, or ergo his last name. But it's he didn't choose the name. He might as well keep it. But anyways, you spoke with him, and after some advice, about appreciating you bringing this idea to him and the such. He did inform you to not play in a very specific area at the moment, due to it being a crowd it would be best to not associate with. Yeah, we'll just leave that to you guys' imagination. Hajime, you decide to, if I recall correctly. Oh, yes, Lemon Chopper.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. It sounded like you wanted to say something.
I kind of was because I thought we were doing my
Right, I almost
something.
forgot. Yeah, I almost forgot. You also went out to speak with the lady you of a noble house that you had assailed. Just leave that to your imagination. Watch the previous videos if need be. But nevertheless, we'll get to that interaction soon. Meanwhile, Lucid, not Lucid, but Hajime, you had decided to, after being shown your room, to look around after being hinted at a possible luxury item that they sell on board this ship that is usually restricted to the Arcana Union. You decided to ask about it, whereupon you discovered or it was explained to you that their products that they are selling are custom Pride silk suits, silk made in the Nine Hells by large spiders that are raised there to provide not only the most powerful silk, but also the most potent poisons and those agonizing poisons in the Nine Hells. But that's not the poison's not what they're selling. They're selling the silk. After a long conversation with the one of the tailors, one of the he basically informed you. He basically allowed you to purchase some Pride silk for a price, of course, to make your own outfit. After that, Lucid, you decide to just hang out in your room, and you decide to help. Well, not really decided to, but Parias came in asking for help regarding study of some spells. Where you realize, wait, no, this isn't so much my wheelhouse of arcane magic. This is divine magic. Again, not familiar with. So he after he spent some time to read to look over his notes and the such, and start some training. Yes. While he was leaving, you noticed a shard-minded woman or person, kind of hard to tell, really. A shard-minded person walking by where you walked over to speak to her, and I'll also get to that. Parias, you decide to spend some time studying and doing some training of the mind, so to speak, trying to refamiliarize yourself with some rituals to
How to cast.
certain spells as rituals.
Yes.
Amongst other things, what else was he planning on doing?
Mostly just that.
Yeah,
Pretty much
alright.
entirely just that, actually.
Okay. And finally, Vera. After being shown to your ship, you spoke to the security detail on the ship to make sure that none of them were demons, weird cultists, just people that would generally be a threat to you.
Did I need to make any sort of insight check for that, or?
I would say that, roll a. Actually, that'd be more of an investigation. Because you're. Actually, no, yeah, insight. Sorry, my head is
I'll take it.
Oh, what was the result?
17.
Ah, alright. Well, you discover that some of the dwarves, have a bit of a. They have a bit of a sweet tooth. And by that I mean they actually have. Some of them have an actual addiction to sweets, but aside from that, none of them appear to be, well, cultists of any sort. They're just, just regular people doing their job. They're friendly enough. They're willing to show you around the security detail after you reveal, your past as a guard. As so many of them are just retired guards and mercenaries, but there are no signs of any cult activities.
The guards are addicted to sweets.
Some of
Okay.
the guards,
I'm
primarily,
I'm gonna make sure I have some sweets on me in case I need to use them as bribes.
all right. Easy enough. You could easily order them from your cabin quarters. In the meantime, you also specifically specifically a group of dwarves, actually, of dwarven mercenaries who are running security detail on this. Despite being somewhat stereotypical and having being able to withstand strong drink, it's a problem that does exist in dwarven society, where some dwarves have a particularly sweet tooth. A bit too sweet in some regards.
Hey, remind me who were the dwarves that Vera's village traded with? Did we have a name for that guy?
Let's see. It wasn't a specific clan so much as just a guild that often a guild of merchants that was founded by dwarves and often traded with your clan.
Well, Vera's going to ask if any of the dwarves here have heard how they're doing since she's been gone from home for a couple of years.
All right. Most of them don't really know what they've heard of the merchant company, but they've never really kept track of them. Yeah, it's not so much of that. They don't care about merchant stuff because many of them work in private security for them, but it's just not their wheelhouse to check in on them every single time. And plus, they've been on this ship for a while, so their knowledge of their contacts and such are a bit off.
Yeah,
One of them says that they think that they're fine. That they actually managed to get a good trade deal with an alchemy guild, but aside from that, nothing much.
That's good. I do owe them a debt of gratitude for their help in my own adventures.
Well, one of them does say that he knows a guy. He knows that his uncle's cousin's and son's best friend's neighbor knows a guy who works there, and he'll pass the message.
Oh, hey, that's as good as being brothers.
Mm-hmm. Might as well. But yeah. So that is what you managed to find. And they're for the most part they're somewhat friendly. They're more business oriented in comparison to others. They're as friendly as dwarves can be while on the job, basically. There's a few humans and actually, surprisingly enough, there's actually a trollkin mercenary who works in the ship as. That being said, we will now continue with Flint. Flint, what sort of questions do you ask Miss Magda Chesty?
Oh, sorry. Quick question first.
Yeah.
Does Vera's dwarven armor elicit any sort of response, reaction from them?
Yeah, compliments. Like, hey, that's some good armor, and good. You have good taste in armor, and the average. That's some good dwarven craftsmanship right there. It's standard things. It's not like a belt of dwarven kind where it's usually like earned by doing many. For the most part in tradition, very dwarvish things, but it's it's not. They appreciate someone has an appreciation for good craftsmanship, as they say.
Nice. I'll join them for a drink at some point. Probably not immediately, but at some point.
All right, and so Flint, what sort of questions do you have for Magda just before she asks you some questions?
It's weird that you frame that in character. Well,
Oh,
I'm
it's out of
just going to be
character.
describing the questions that my dude is going to ask. Oh boy. Fuck, I need to think. Alright, so this is going to be one of them. Probably. But one of the party members, Valor, or if I remember correctly, takes the fighting seriously and believes that she could basically kick anyone's ass or something. So, or at least takes the subject very seriously.
She does.
So one of them would be having her give some quick coaching to the Slass. But that's probably a later one. The first that would be a weird first question to ask.
Okay, that's fine. Just what first question would Flint ask?
The hardest part, I suppose, it's just how were the 30 years?
She tells you, that when the other guards came, when her family sent out mercenaries to essentially escort her back safely. Well, funnily enough, they were actually they were the last mercenaries that her family originally would have ever considered to send out, because at the time of at that time, blood hunters weren't exactly. They're more seen as brutish, extremely useful considering the region, but still very brutish and not very not very respectable people to do business with. People to do business with in general. But when she was escorted by them, she admired them greatly for not only their dedication to their craft, but also their dedication to their job. Even though they were, for the most part, quite messy, she was very much inspired by them, and as such, once she became of age to own her own land, to run her own part of the land or plot of land, she decided to, instead of paladins, clerics, standard warriors, even warlocks or not just warlocks, or any sort of warrior into her court as knights. She instead had her entire knighthood composed of blood hunter mercenaries, and as such, and after she took the mantle of the matriarch of her family, she has, things have been going quite well for her. And yeah, aside from that, she's hasn't married yet. She's still looking for someone. But she's hopeful. For the most part, it's just been peaceful. He's sending out some blood hunters to go take care of a werewolf infestation here, go kill a few wendigos there. Restless undead spirits in region, basic things. A few problems here and there, but nothing. A few blood hunter knights couldn't take care of. Do you have another question?
I suppose I could crack that. That feels about like a third. The training thing feels like about a third question to kind of finish things off.
You said it was going to be the last, so you don't have to speed it up. Just take your time.
Seeing that there is only so much time, how many? He asks how many sending stones she's got on her person.
She doesn't really have any sending stones. She primarily uses the. She's hired the services of a not a divination wizard per se, a cleric who can cast sending for her. Not really. She's hired a warlock who can cast sending to basically perform sending whenever she needs it. Standard stuff. Basically a messenger without all the legwork.
But at least this level of communication is sort of possible. Hey, Anti, have you told me how a sending stone works yet?
Yep. Basically, both stones have a single cast of sending, and you can only send. You can only cast sending to the wielder of the other person who's carrying the other sending stone. But the same limitations of standard.
I'm not gonna bring up how that has broken up few conversation.
It's fine. Would you have any other questions? Does your character have any other questions for?
I wanted this interaction to be a little bit more substantial, but I suppose this is just a questionnaire now.
Well, more catching up, but yes.
And I will have the question buffered with instead talking about what his time has been like after he recently got back. Kind of explaining the process of how he got a girlfriend, how he was a former scarecrow, maybe lacing it with why he liked it a little bit and kind of misses being like that.
Alright. Roll an insight. What was the result? I rolled 20.
None yet, as I was fucking fetching character sheet.
My bad. Okay.
Insight's a 24, so pretty okay.
Whenever you mention, when you mention what happened afterwards with the entirety of the incident, you notice a noticeable amount of sadness in her face. And whenever you mention, the good parts of what's happened, meeting this mercenary, taking this job, meeting new people, making friends, falling in love. You see a noticeable amount of genuine happiness in her face, in her eyes, as she just almost pleasant warmth as she looks at you. And whenever you mention, all your enemies and the such, legitimate, very unusual curiosity about them, as you
He also
can't quite
mentioned
tell us
how
why.
speaking of enemies, if he is going on that kind of tangent, I didn't think he was gonna go. You were gonna have him go on that kind of tangent, but fuck it, I will go with it.
That's part of the adventure. Sorry if that was not what you want. You wanted your
No,
character
it's
to
fine
know.
actually. This might interestingly go places. He talks about the orc whose brother he fucking murdered in the worst way. And
Yeah.
he raises his concerns about trying to undo some of that. He hasn't told her about the Black Dragon thing, because I don't think he's going to be willing to tell that bag of nonsense to a lot of people. Unless they're particularly close. Or,
Then, yeah.
well, not particularly close.
Well,
It's
rewind
a
then.
weird thing where he doesn't want to just waste people's time with his own tragic backstory nonsense.
Oh, rewind then. Alright, so rewind that then. She, so what you don't mention that, but when you mention, your times, fighting and how I'm guessing you mentioned like how your character felt about, causing taking away someone's sibling. She understands. She appears to have like a moment of empathy, as if she understands as if she's been in that sort of situation. Disturbingly enough.
So he kind of explains how he actually wants to help that guy calm down tensions and make sure he has a better life than the kind of deal he dealt his brother. If he's not too much of a risk. There's a certain point where people just kind of get too powerful to try to rehabilitate, because if they slip, then they're gonna hurt a lot, and he's hoping he's not there yet.
Yeah, she understands, and yeah, after you finish informing her of all of that, she asks if you are, for the most part, all right.
He kind of makes a little joke about how he's a bit worse off since he's not a scarecrow anymore. But overall fine, minus a few quote-unquote confidence issues. She probably would have noticed that he's cracking a lot less jokes. Anytime she would have probably poked for one, he probably didn't respond back. There might be a few things on his mind. Have a roll insight, actually.
Yeah. Well,
if you would like that.
Well, is he going to try to hide?
Not particularly, but you had me roll insight on stuff that wasn't necessarily hiding.
Fair enough. Let's see here.
It's not a detect truth button.
Well, that's a natural 1.
Would you like to use your one's perception reroll?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna be
Alright,
vocable and be stingy about
completely
it.
fine, maybe like a little stuttery, but hey, sometimes people have just weird off days. Mm.
Yeah. Well, she'll.
And
understand.
his line about scarecrow stuff seems more jokey. Mm.
Yeah. She understands. Yeah, and she sort of laughs when you tell the joke. Can ask you, if you're so serious about something like this, have you looked into uh, hiring maybe into hiring a wizard to to basically make you a custom body
It
as as a scarecrow?
He brings up out of his what I assume a bag of holding that he's got now. I believe that scarecrow body is actually just in his inventory somewhere. So out of
I
hammer
believe
space
it
or
was.
whatever, he's
No,
keeping
wait.
that in.
If I remember correctly, it was the nervous system modification for it.
Yes, but he's also ordered the parts for a body and had been carving them and whatever. This was before the campaign was streamed, by the way.
Hmm.
But before that, he was actually ordering some fucking parts and put those together and carved the symbols of a spade, a heart, playing card motifs, essentially.
Yeah. She also asks
Your spades, your clubs, your whatever. And he pulls out his current work in progress.
She looks impressed and will offer if you want. If she basically, if her warlock could take a look at it and get it, see if there's any modifications he would suggest in terms of, well, with you being a warlock yourself and him also primarily being a guild craftsman, but also casting sending every once in a while. If there's anything in something that would possibly ease the transference of not only your power but also your warlock abilities into it.
He brings up that that's a fucking stellar proposal, but also he's been thinking about some modifications as well, as he brings up his supply of medical tools. He brings up the idea that he would have these just attached to the body so he doesn't have to pull them out all the time. Or he could just have them and not worry about a situation where they might be gone or broken. And he's always just free to use them whenever.
Again, she'll say that her warlock can look into that. But in the meantime, is there any other questions your character has?
Well, more like I suppose a. Oh yeah, we got the semi last question.
Yeah, for the training.
And the idea is he wants to actually somewhat test his and this person's mettle through a few practice brawls.
All right, roll persuasion.
I mean, he might not be the best, but he wants
knows how
to
to
see
speak.
if he can successfully scheme with someone else. to be able to possibly win a brawl against a person like her if the time were to come. Well, not a person of similar power level. Fuck, I don't have a way to say that.
Someone of
Similar status.
similar martial prowess.
What does the status do? It's power level.
No.
Anyway, let me see where my persuasion is. Persuasion 6 here. That's a 9. I'm actually going to use my once per session reroll because I think this is a neat interaction.
Alright.
And being able to entertain this further. A 16.
Alright, let's see. What?
I would imagine she'd be still kind of busy, so.
Yeah, she sort of thinks that you're joking for a moment, but I take it that you try to elaborate. No, I'm
He manages to
seriously.
drop down and get serious for a moment as he brings up he wants to know if he is in a situation where he has to go against someone of similar martial prowess because he's got to defend quite a few people and he's the only one kind of there, or maybe somebody else.
She asks
He
you
wants
what
to know
exactly
if he
you're
can try
looking.
and topple that, how he could beat that.
Yeah, she asks you what specifically you're looking for when you're training. If you were to train under her, what are you expecting?
Well, seeing as she's a fighter, it's not exactly like she can give advice on fucking magical warfare.
And do you ask her? Do you say that? Does your character say that? No, not in the exact word.
Not really. It's just me pondering what kind of questions he's gonna give. He's gonna be looking for extra martial prowess and seeing that if his magical tools can help him get an upper hand, because he knows that he is not going to be the most martially experienced in the world, but he's got other tools, and those other tools can be very, very important. And even if they might be like dirty tricks or whatever to some other people, that's the difference between winning and defending those that you like, or a lot of innocent people, or dying, maybe.
She will. Let's see. She's willing to. Let's see here. In terms of magic, so to simplify it, are you looking for spells or martial training, or martial weapon training, or no, just weapon training, like martial magic or martial?
He knows she's got more experience in martial, so he's gonna seek that lane of advice, and then say he might be looking for more magical advice later, and confirming he can still talk to her later because he's still got sending.
Yeah, she explains that she's willing to for since you saved her life those many years back. In fact, if you need anything at all whenever you're in Erether, feel free to drop on by. She is the noble, and she's the noble who lords over. Let's see here. I need to double check. Yeah.
I feel like we're getting into the weird pseudo RP scenarios because I'm describing emotions and stuff as well, on top of like general questions.
Well, trying to make it fast. Sorry if it's taking too long, but all right. Sorry, I had to check my notes real quick because I forgot. Why is it taking so long to load? I'm so sorry. I have to choose which. I have to pick out which one the. Here it is. She says that basically, if you're ever lost, if you're ever lost, she's willing to how to let her rest at any of her guest rooms if you need a place to rest. As she will basically say, "No, I remember my debts. I remember my debts very well, and yours is not quite something I can repay with simple coinage or favor."
Upon which he weirdly well, of course he thanks her for one, and hopes that since he saved this life, that it's been a good one and continues to be a good one. While also kind of telling her that he's gonna be performing during this trip.
All right.
That she might want, and asks if she might want to see that.
She would, and where she her cabin number, yeah, where her cabin is. So she's so you can have someone tell her if it happens. And almost before I forget, this is almost. If you were to look into the map where I am pinging.
Alright, let me fucking see.
There's right over to
Arthur is miles away.
Right.
It's a mainland. It's a mainland city. Basically, how Arthur works is that it is a large landmass controlled and run by noble houses due to the many threats that exist there, vampires, werewolves, and the such. The
Living there
most
is just
governments
living
found-
the hard knocks no matter what status you are.
Yeah. Most soft people, suffice to say, did not last long. But as such, so it's primarily run by landowners and such. The people who own the largest plots of land that make up a city, well, those are the nobles that get a say in how Erether is run. It's not the best to many people, but considering Erether's history of espionage, deceit, betrayal, and general murder, it's
pretty good for
preferable
what
in
it could be.
comparison. Yeah, it's preferable in comparison to it being run by vampires, of all things.
Well, that's just racist.
Well, most of the
It's stereotypical.
And also keep in mind, and though
We don't have
Mark's-
we haven't met your anti-Count Strons.
there it's because of the vampires' cruelty that the attempted vampire based government's cruelty that Erether has a Dhampir population. The Dhampir were the ones who overthrew it, and at the moment, most of the noble houses are composed primarily of Dhampir. There's several dwarvish and gnomish, in fact, even a few Goliath noble houses that run Erether, but most of the families are Dhampir.
The important thing to bring up for our fucking group is Flint has a solid connection with one of these figures.
And before I end up forgetting, let's see here.
Man, I have made sure this guy has a lot of connections in high places.
Yeah, Welcome to
Lots
level
of friendly connections in high places. Holy
yeah,
shit.
welcome to level 12. It's not uncommon once you're at this level, and when you've been playing this long. Nevertheless,
Need to keep those in my
Ironically,
notes.
Elgin was in fucking Ericsir before this.
yes, she was. Yes, he was. But
like,
let's not mention another campaign
100 years
yet.
ago.
Yeah,
Ish.
let's not mention another campaign yet. Yet.
Yeah.
So, when it needs to be brought up, it'll be brought up. Don't worry. But yes, nevertheless.
I think
Oh.
after all of that, bidding adieu, inviting her to a show.
All right. And she actually does
whatever.
have a few. She actually has a few questions for Flint, actually.
And thus he just kind of. Okay, so I'm gonna say she asks those before he attempts to leave.
She does. Yeah, she
Why is
does
it-
before you leave. Basically,
And
her
so
first question.
he gives
Oh,
her
yes.
that time of day because
Yeah.
she's given her it's only fair.
Yeah.
Working.
Noz, are you okay? Yeah, we can hear you.
My headset was being freaky.
It's fine. I understand. In the meantime, the first question she asks is that she's heard that you are a musician under the label of the Weiss. Is that she basically asks you if that's true?
Is that correct? He brings up a. He still has the small invitation note, right?
She would have taken it at that point. Actually, no, she would. Yeah, she would have taken it.
He brings that up pretty much, and brings it, and I'm assuming she snatches it basically immediately.
No, she doesn't. She asks you if she can see it.
Upon which he gives it.
All right.
As long as she gives it back.
No, she will. And after I take you lend it to her, she takes a look at it, and she says that this paper is basically very expensive. So is the ink. Some of the actual shiny metallic embossing is actual gold. It's expected of the Weiss. It has a constant, has a repeating, rich spell of prestidigitation to clean off any handprints or fingerprints off of it as well. As she points out, on like a small, you assumed was like a small like coffee stain or ink stain on the corner. She uses this on occasion. She uses the similar method on occasion. To transport letters and the such to hands to make sure that they're not dirty or anything like that. Because a dirty letter that's its own problem. But yes, after giving it to you, her next question is basically that what is she like?
I need to dig up memories of who she be.
Your character's technically fiance.
His character's relation to the Weiss.
No,
It's
not
been
the Weiss specifically.
A weirdly kind.
Oh no, not the Weiss.
Relationship. Besides the time he was held at gunpoint for knowing her daughter.
Not the Weiss. Not the Weiss at all. She was specifically talking about with the priestess, who is now a high priestess of her church. Because you did mention that.
Yes.
Yeah, because keep in mind, no one knows who the Weiss is. Or if it's a man or a woman or what they are.
Except for Flint, apparently.
Yes, except for Flint.
He brings up that he wishes he was just around her more. She's nice and feels like he's kind of not doing his part in the relationship because his long distance.
All right.
The Sending Stone is just kind of the limit of his communication with her is painful.
I almost forgot to mention throughout the entire time you two were having a conversation, she was drinking what looks like something in a glass. And you notice as while you're talking that her she's beginning to tear up a little bit at that. As remember, she's alone. She doesn't have anyone, so hearing this still hurts her almost physically. You can. It's very obvious that it almost hurts her on a physical level that she's alone. She almost literally says, "I wish I had someone who missed me that much."
He gives her up.
All right.
Just
Fuck, I have to make. Give me a moment. I have to make her roll wisdom. Oh, okay. Actually, no, that's not bad. Okay. Yeah, she pats you on the back and sort of pulls you away. And her last question before things get too awkward is basically, let's see here. What was it? Let's see here. If if there's anything you would need, is there what happened to your village? Because when she returned there was nothing left, not even wood, or stone, or anything. She didn't even find any bones or anything if they were killed. That she was wondering if you had moved to some other location, or because she spent because as she'll allow as for the sake of expediency, she explains that she has spent a long time trying to find you, for 5 years before she decided, well, it's a big world. He's either dead or somewhere else living his life.
He just kind of falls quiet, essentially giving the response that he's not ready to talk about that right now.
All right. She looks concerned for a moment, but she says she understands. If you ever wish to talk about it with her, you know where she is and where she will be after the cruise. In the meantime, she formally accepts your invitation to your concert, to your concert, and is wondering if by what means will you send a letter to her, so that way the message, so that way not her guards don't accidentally kill them or wound them at all.
He just casts Sending and questionably says, like this.
Alright.
With just the most awkward smile. And we cut out on that.
Yeah, we're going to cut out on that.
And flow into the time skipping stuff. Upon which
actually, not quite. Actually, not quite. Listen. The Shardmind inroads. The Shardmind inroads you saw in the hall. You go and stop them.
I should have said flow in on my
call out to
stuff later.
Earlier, and by call out to me, and I mean form a mental connection via telepathy, because that's my only form of speech.
Okay. She immediately stops, he or she immediately stops, and as they turn around, you notice a physical or audible reverberation coming off their body that essentially comes out as I swear to God, I swear to God, I swear to the gods, I will break your goddamn kneecaps. You so much as as they face you.
Well, that's a little bit more aggressive of a meeting than I was expecting.
They apologize and ask if you're either wearing if you're under the effects of a disguised self, or if you're actually a shard. Basically, asking if you're real or not.
It's mind my manners. Yes, I'm a real shard mind. Here, I let my light begin to glow, and I let the sound of my name begin resonating.
They respond in kind as they reveal themselves as as a more of a ting, but in to most people, they know her as let's see, they know her as Tempest.
See, have so many questions.
Yeah, she responds, saying that yes, she does as well, but she also needs to apologize. She's traveling with with a group of other with a group of nobles. Their child had recently picked up the ability of telepathy through a pact they had made. She says child, as technically they are adults, but compared to her, as she refers to herself as a woman, they are quite well. She doesn't want to say childish, but almost. So she'll just be more accurate and say they're almost infantile, as some halflings tend to be.
I see. Are you currently on your way to them then?
No, she was just about. She says, "No, I was about to go and get some, and I was about to go see go anywhere else and find perhaps a place to practice some spell crafting."
I see. Would you object if I came with?
She tilts her head and asks you, are you a practitioner of the arcane arts?"
Well, I fathom myself as quite good, yes. Well, there is always room improve.
Then she simply says, "By all means."
Then lead on.
All right, and I take it you go back, grab your book, and
Oh, trust me, my spellbook never left my body. That never does.
sorry, my bad. Then yeah, so for the rest of the day, you notice that she is much like you, a learned spellcaster through and a wizard basically, but she appears to be specialized in actually roll an Arcana to see if you can recognize it.
Oh boy. It's either going to be a nat 1 or higher, and if it is a nat 1, I'm just going to re-roll it. So, hey. Hey, 32.
She appears to be quite. She appears to use a lot of fire. No, sorry, why am I trying to say? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. She appears to use a lot of illusions. At least you think so before you. Well, a few times you notice. Oh, wait, that's the spell that see, before you notice the spell, in front of you is not illusion, but actually some very specialized very specialized type of magic of illumination magic. Spells of shadows and light. It's sort of a combination of illusion, enchantment, and necromancy, sort of into one subtype of spells. They're, and she also appears to be able to perform meta magic, molding them to different shapes and such.
Mm. I'm not familiar with any of these types of magics. Well, I mean, I can understand they're wizard-like in nature, but
Yeah, you also notice that they are quite potent. Whenever she casts like a firebolt in down range, basically, they're unusually accurate. Even with the equipment she appears to be using, which appears to just be a standard wand, with how accurate they are, they're almost unnatural in how accurate they are.
I will. I'll bring.
I was just going to say, feel free to roll another Arcana.
I bring it up to her when I can find out myself. 19.
All right, you are able to tell that at the very least she can cast. She's a bit. Judging by the impact of the spell on one of the essentially target dummies, she appears to be at least capable of. Let's see here. She at least appears to be able. She at the very least appears to be capable of casting 5th level spells. At the very keep in mind at the very least.
She can more casually cast a 5th level spell.
Yeah, more casually. She doesn't appear to be willing to cast a. She's just shooting cantrips down range. Angrily, it looks like. She also explained. She actually has a question for you. If you're of the sort of shard mind that, either that has a form of telepathy, or if you're the sort of shard mind that has gained the ability of telepathy through some arcane or eldritch or otherwise means.
As far as I can recall, I've had telepathic abilities since the day I awoke. Yet I have refined them through other means.
She explains that she doesn't. While she's never been able to develop telepathy, but she finds it admirable. An admirable ability. It would have made a lot of conversations a lot easier in the past, but yeah.
Yes, indeed, it does make conversing easier.
Yeah.
Do you travel?
Too many interlopers. Yeah, she can. But yeah. After that, do you have any questions for her?
Very many. However, I don't wish to take too much time. Is there anything else anyone else has that is pressing?
We are going to be doing downtime this session, so on camera, on recording, so it's fine.
He has to do off.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of just a pain to do off camera.
Yeah, it's a pain to do off camera, so might as well just do it on camera.
Continuity's
Why broke something that's already that doesn't need? Why repair anything? Or why replace something that isn't broken?
There you go. You did it.
Took you a couple of tries.
Why fix something that's already broken, right?
That's the same. All right.
That's different, but yeah.
First question: how old are you? Because that is important information.
She's, let's see here. She thinks she's about 1600.
Oh, she's
Yep.
much older.
She's she's noticeably older than her. She woke up a long time ago and she's been practicing. She's been trying to avoid people until she encountered a halfling house that not so much encountered as they saved her life on one occasion, and now she's eternally indebted to them because of their. At the time, it was unusual, but their very extreme kindness, at least from her opinion, their very extreme kindness.
Perhaps a little too pushy on the kindness, but
Sort of, yeah.
Imagine owing a life debt to someone.
imagine owing a life debt to someone when you're also basically immortal. That's kind of gotta suck.
Yeah, so she basically serves the house. Most of the members of the noble house they're good enough people. It's just that she's currently with the annoying kind.
Yes, one of the younger folk.
Yeah. Can't even clean their own butts because their arms are because their limbs are underdeveloped.
Pathetic. Imagine not being born an adult.
Yeah.
Kind of cringe.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I'm glad that you at least find their company mostly enjoyable.
Yeah, she does, and she asks you if you're interested in exchanging spells, since you're basically kin.
Basically, I mean, come from the same.
Yeah, I mean, same gate, and you know that most shard mines, as far as you know, all shard mines came from the same gate. They're just here and there.
Ooh. I will agree to the spell exchange after she answers one more question.
Okay.
To what ideology do you subscribe when it comes to your kid?
Mm.
Personally, I view it as my duty to restore the gate in any way possible, and I believe the way to do so is to obtain as much power as I myself can. I have heard others whispers of those of our kin who would sooner slaughter each other to rebuild the gate.
She sort of nods and says, I can understand. She basically says that while she understands that endeavor, she's far more interested in finding out how to, because to understand the gate itself, as to understand the gate, at least in her opinion, is to understand a bit of oneself, and perhaps even her fellow shard mind.
I see. Well, what type
First
of
know, then to first know a bit about the gate, and then she wishes to, at some point, hopefully, repair the gate with her brothers and sister.
as is the eventual goal of our kin,
Mhm.
through whatever means we choose. What kind of spells did you have in mind, of course? I must say, though, more combat folk. Though I certainly do have utility.
All right. She looks up and down at you, kind of measuring you up, and asks, "What is the highest level spell you can cast?"
If we were to quantify it, 6.
Let's see. She flips through her spell book.
The cusp, if you will, of something greater. But
She
I
asks,
still
yeah.
But I still require more time to break.
All right. She pulls out a spell. She pulls out all flipping through her book. She stops at a
Well, better
page.
be encouraged. I'm gonna be upset if it isn't.
Yeah, she flips through her book and stops at a page and asks you if you're willing to learn how to. Well, let's see here. Summon starlight and strike down at your foes, possibly rendering them blind and flat on the ground.
I mean, I don't see why not.
All right. She asks you what sort of spell you would be willing to offer in exchange, as this is a 5th level spell.
5th levels. Well, a 5th level spell for a 5th spell. I'd imagine a spell like Eidetic Memory would be even more intriguing for her, should she not already have it.
Yeah. She already has eidetic memory.
Makes sense. It's a good spell.
And especially since she works as a family wizard to a noble house, it's immensely useful to her.
I don't know if she can make teleportation circles, but teleportation circles aren't the most important thing. What about Scry?
Do you ask her if she knows how to create a teleportation circle?
I'll ask her if she would be intrigued in learning how to make teleportation circles and or cast scrying, as I know she has people to look after.
She already has scrying, but she does not have teleportation circles. She hasn't been able to get her hands on it ever since. Since she's always so busy, most of her spells are catered towards housework and babysitting, as well as some offensive and defensive spells. She doesn't even have so in exchange she's willing to do that. She's willing to accept in exchange for this. She's willing. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot right now. In exchange for teleportation circle,
Yes.
for permission to copy down teleportation circle from your spellbook, she is willing to allow you to copy down Starfall into your spellbook.
Star what?
Starfall.
Starfall, yes. I see. 5th level evocation, 6 feet, 1 action, instantaneous charismatic.
The first time I've seen magical bartering.
It's a common practice.
It happens more common than you might think.
It's a neat thing. I like this.
Yeah.
I like the idea of people teaching each other spells for other spells. I want to do that for bards.
Yeah, most people just do it for money, but he's kin, so he's basically kin. So yeah, and then you don't need to pay for the spell scroll, but you do need to pay for the components for the paper and ink to scribe this into your spellbook. Which, if I recall correctly, is 50 times the spell's level, which would be 550 gold pieces.
Yeah, I've usually done it in my spell book. I'll actually deduct the gold and such whenever I get an opportunity to buy stuff.
All right. Plus the ship does offer paper and ink for scribing spells into your spell. So yeah, they're easily enough able to do that for you.
Should I deduct the gold now? Well, plat, because I don't have any.
Gold or platinum, they accept either.
Subtracting 55, yeah. Math. Aha, math has been completed.
All right. And she actually asks if you're willing, if you have any free time when you're not working on anything, if you're willing to assist her in an endeavor she wishes to complete. It has something to do with this gate research, basically.
I mean, I have nothing else to do on this ship. I would be very intrigued to spend more time with.
All right, and with that,
It's
downtime, people.
Everybody's favorite time.
Yes, so
the
we're gonna
broken
have to-
thing we aren't bothering to fix. Well, I'm improving. I have a game plan this time around.
No. In the meantime, yeah. Well, in the meantime, we're gonna start from the. Let's see here.
From the bottom.
We'll blow it. We'll blow it.
Sure is yawning.
Don't do that. Don't.
Stop it.
All
Don't
right.
yawn. Stop sucking ghost
Delete
dick.
your mic if you're yawning.
I did.
Just
I muted.
delete it from all of this.
I just swept it away so that way none of you could hear it.
just remove yourself from existence so your mic doesn't.
Anyways, so it's gonna be from the bottom up as to downtime activities. So, first and foremost, Flutter, what would you like Vera to do for the first 3 weeks?
Can we get back to me? I've got to go for a second. I'll be right back.
Understandable. Parias, what would you like to do for the first 3 weeks?
Ritual caster,
Okay, and with the help of Hajime,
I guess.
because she's the only one who in the party who knows druid spells and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I can help, I guess. Do I need to roll anything or no?
You can just turn it into a band.
No, I would say that you would have an advantage on this, essentially survival,
Yeah, because
because she's helping you and the stuff when she's
Yeah.
when she's not working on her on designing her dress.
okay. And then two that I'm going to be getting from the feat being successful, I guess, would be detect magic and extract poison for future reference.
Mm-hmm.
How many rolls do you want? 3?
Yep, 3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hey,
As for the first week,
yup.
you only make 2 points of progress.
Why does Price not have higher than a +1 to wisdom or proficiency in survival?
Look, I didn't have any skill proficiencies, and I haven't gotten to it yet. I will get to it later, though.
Mm.
Okay, 2 points. Taking another.
Imagine not having at least 8 skill proficiencies. This was made by
Remind me what
halfling
fucking
rogue
month
bard.
it is.
Therefore, but I have
Time
an
is a very important issue, and I need to be
Imagine-
keeping more active track of it. I need
Okay,
to
so
fucking
I-
keep track of that birthday.
Right.
Imagine
So-
not getting feats just to increase your proficiency.
Oh, I'm
and
working
having
on that.
and having 10
Anyways,
not having
moving
10
on.
proficiency.
Not having
Imagine
a
using
Moving on.
Constitution.
because the DC
Zero
is,
HP.
by the way, for the sake of and for just for like clarity, the DC is usually 17. However,
17?
yes, 17 because this is a feat. Training for, but because you have Hajime helping you, the DC is lower as well, just by 1
You-
though.
I'm trying to figure out where the fuck that last roll was. I'll figure that out later.
16. So 16, 12, 17, and then 16.
No, that one. The one last session. I'll figure that out in a minute. So that's 3 points?
All 3 point.
I think that's 3 points currently.
Moment.
Right? I don't know. I don't remember how many I need.
It's
Okay, cool. What was it? Shit. Fuck. I guess 1 more. Still. Anti? Excellent.
Go to the anti
This gives me
where were
time.
you when Auntie is killed?
I have returned, and I
Oh, he's back.
killed.
He is
Hello,
back.
my roommates wanted to ask me if it was okay in the funding to pay for pizza on Friday, which I and yeah, basically.
It's always okay.
No, it depends.
Okay.
It depends. At the moment, we're good. Get pizza for Friday night. Anyway, so
Yeah. When did I do that other one? There it is. It was a 15 previously.
it was not a success. It was a failure.
So I had, out of the 6
So you-
tests, there were 3 successes?
Well, actually, technically, that was to start making progress. But yeah, basically how I do it is it's an entire thing when it comes to learning a feat, which varies from feat to feat. In the case of Ritual Caster, you essentially familiarize yourself with the scroll, which itself takes at least 3 checks. After that, you have to 3 successful checks. So essentially for per spell scroll, which in this case was 2.
Well,
Afterwards, you have to either find a trainer or train while looking at it, or if you find a trainer, you can have them essentially tell you how to. You essentially write this down in a spellbook. Otherwise, you're going to have to complete several checks to create your own formula to essentially put it into your spellbook. That requires 4 checks. After that, you need to basically, let's see here. After that, you have to basically start. You have to practice writing it out, which itself takes multiple checks, about 6.
All right, everyone. Nancy's ranting, so make sure you know sheet's ready.
3 checks. 3 checks in this case. 3 checks per spell scroll.
The feat is 2.
Yeah, but I'm streamlining it into 3 checks.
I don't see that's his
For the entirety of
streamlines
the
it.
week.
I don't see how adding steps streamlines it, but
In this case, because it takes
Your brain is
case of
too
it
small.
being a long amount of time, 3 checks. 3 checks.
Okay. So to roll another 3.
You succeeded because of all 3 checks.
Okay. So do I have the feat or no?
Yes, you do.
Excellent.
We did it.
Wahoo!
Yay.
Everybody gets closer and closer to being absolutely busted for their level.
I
Nah.
And
have
I get-
utility now.
I think
Just
we
have some
already
utility out of home. Pretty much.
I have beyond the 4 feats at this point, and most of them were gained through off training. When my setup only allows for like 4.
Guess I'll
Yeah.
detect magic and
By the
check
way, did you pay for the? Do you pay for that license for extract void?
there's a fucking license for that?
Yeah,
God
because
fucking damn it. I don't
Yes.
remember.
Because
Time
it can
to do
you did it.
crimes.
So
Is it 20
I'm
gold or
assuming
something?
it's 20
I don't
gold
remember.
per level of the spell.
20 gold per level. It's like 20 gold. So
Yeah.
I don't remember if I already did or not.
No, you didn't. That was with Solifist, not.
I know I did with
Parias.
Souls. I know I did with Souls. I
Yeah, you-
do not remember if I did with Price.
You did it with Parias.
Cool.
You did not. Yeah, because it can be used to extract poison and put into food and stuff like that to kill a lot of people.
Okay. So I did it with Price. Deducted 20 gold. Give me the fucking license, you bastards.
Yeah, they put it in your
Excellent.
identification,
I'll
your
also
papers,
remove the GP.
as that you have a license for this.
The description things. I know a lot of things, and then I have another week that I don't know what I'm going to do with yet.
Didn't know we were in fucking England.
No, you're going to be traveling to the Aurora Union. In the Serena Empire, they don't really do the whole licensing thing for spells or rituals.
Basically, the Union fucking sucks.
Well, the Union,
It's just not good.
the Union, the Chicago Royal Empire, not Erether, because
I doubt
they-
Resh cares.
Resh, actually, surprisingly enough, does care because their population is primarily undead.
Yes.
The Eurasian Empire doesn't give a shit. They do their own thing.
Okay. Well, I'm going to grab this scrolls from the Udeman. I don't know what to do for the next week currently, so.
You could try doing some jobs. You bother
I
rank
could. Ooh, skilled? I could try to get the skilled feat, maybe, I guess.
and earn
What
some
does
moolah.
even require to train?
I would need. I don't know. But I do know I want survival, I want insight, and I want animal handling.
Well, that's a good thing.
Animal handling is very important.
Yes. The alternative is that you could spend time with with Rangelo or ask Rangelo if he can get you a job for a good amount of money
Right.
for the rest of the.
Ring glue. Oh, him. I guess I could.
Yeah.
For like the week, I guess.
Well, for the rest of the week, yeah.
Sure. I won't say no to money.
All right. Let's see here.
Okay, that's normal.
All right, this is going to be an interesting job. You are hired to basically, well, he asks you if you're willing to take a bouncer job, essentially standing guard at the front of in this case, a lottery, or standing in front of a door where a lottery is currently being held, and basically making sure people that are have permission to go in are able to, and people that are not able to.
I imagine he knows how to be bouncer. Sure.
Be big
Why not?
scared.
And also,
Alright.
he will flicker every time he checks someone. He will flicker between familiar sight and normal sight for a little bit.
Yeah. And okay, so you have two ways you can achieve this. You can either roll persuasion, intimidation,
Oh.
or athletics
Oh.
for this. Now keep in mind, this will determine how you handle the job. Persuasion will be if you're more diplomatic and just talk somebody out of look, this is a private event, you don't want to bother. Please don't bother these people. They're
I
just.
think I get it. Intimidation is
You
persuasion.
threaten them.
Harsher. In athletics is just you throw them out.
Just absolutely
Just
getting them
no,
out.
fuck out of here.
Based.
Well, here's the problem. Well, I'll show you. Okay. I don't know how much price would. I don't know, personal.
And you will be working with someone, so while you
Yes.
don't have advantage on this check, someone else can handle essentially the conversation part. And
They can do the conversation
what you
part.
can
Oh,
do.
this makes it easy.
all right, now I have to roll to determine if they're going to be threatening or persuasive.
This is gonna be the most.
Threatening it is.
We got the most.
You are
fucking
paired-
bout ever.
You are paired with a. I'm sorry, but I have to mention it. You are paired with a halfling.
Oh,
And when you look at them, they are conventionally the most adorable halfling in half plate, who appears to be wielding a long sword. And whenever somebody tries to get uppity about coming in and demanding to see somebody, even though they're not on the list that you actually physically have,
Yeah.
he just pulls them down and whispers something into their ear. And either they run away in terror, or they try to get physical.
And then I just smack him in the fucking face and throw him away. Not like off the ship, but like
Off, down a hallway or something.
away.
Get out of here,
from
you
the room.
fucko.
Just grab
Just
them by the
toss
shirt.
them.
Just grab them by the shirt of their collar and the back of their pants, and just throw them.
No, you reverse suplex. No, you
The
don't.
shirt of their collar.
You grab them by the shirt of their collar and reverse suplex
Bag of
without
the shirt.
bending your back.
The fucking paint.
I kid. You don't actually. That's
Flawless
up to you.
drawing
How
color.
you do it. So how do you take care of it? You just push them away.
Shove them away like a bit softly, but enough to know that there could easily be more for. And if they keep attempting to, he just choke slams them.
Okay. And that was for the first part of the second part of.
Man
This
is
is,
establishing himself as you don't fuck with this bouncer.
All right.
This is important.
That's your style, and with a 23, that's fine. Most of the people that get uppity are people who just all talk or just some
So you
some
immediately
uppity
scare
noble.
the piss out of them, essentially, and they
AKA
don't give like a shit.
AKA the Karens before Karen was ever Karen before there was ever a name for those sort of people.
What do we call Karens in a fantasy setting? Fae.
Look, it's not a
Karen.
search. No, and that's no. We call them elves.
Okay, elves maybe,
Yes.
but
Karen.
Maybe dwarves. Actually, no, not dwarves. Maybe actually not. Maybe elves and dwarves. Halflings, on
Finding
average, are
new
just too
terrible
kind.
ways to spell.
No,
names.
Karens transcend beyond race. They just exist.
Yeah.
Okay. Nevertheless, moving on. So,
Yeah.
the first, I need to roll once more.
Once more. Okay. I'm gonna re-roll that.
Well, okay.
What the fuck? Okay.
Fate has decided.
Double that once.
Fate has decided that you're fucked.
Wait.
Fate has decided. Fuck you.
Do you guys?
I mean,
I'm
at
gonna
least
tell you a
It's
story
really
after.
persistent, at least.
at least
give him.
It's very consistent.
yeah. I mean, at least you're getting your bad luck out now.
Oh God.
Can the halfling
meantime-
boy give him the help action?
No.
Does he have bountiful luck?
No.
Damn it.
He's a very selfish halfling. And very rude. But he manages to pick up your
Imagine
slack.
not.
But he picks
Imagine
up your
playing.
slack. Sorry, you're saying?
Imagine playing, or imagine a halfling not having bountiful luck. What a shit excuse for a halfling.
I mean, to be fair, whenever you're unable to physically force off that one very muscular ruffian, he basically just beats the ever living shit out of them with a blunt end of their long sword. The
So
cross
this
guard.
adorable little fucking dude just fucking waltzes up and then just starts kicking and beating the shit out of him.
No, he just
maybe an occasional
hits-
stab. Who the fuck
No,
knows?
he just hits them in the gut and the sensitive bits until they run away.
Ah, yes, the nut shot. A valuable component
And he
to all of our combative
serve-
needs.
Yeah, and he performs this service with a smile.
I mean, why wouldn't you? A nut shot is something to be proud of, not ashamed.
Yeah.
Moving on. So
Dishonorable.
so when you get your pay, the halfling is actually paid 700 gold pieces
What the fuck?
Uh-huh.
because he took up your slack,
A little bit.
and you're only paid 200.
Only 200.
Still 200.
200
Due to
platinum.
your-
Still 200 platinum.
Due to
200 gold.
in the other few days, they viewed you as not trying your best and providing inadequate.
I'll break a femur next. That brings up the quota. Let's fucking break a femur next time. I guess.
Is price activated? No.
I'll break a man's arm. Don't think I won't.
Does price say this or no?
It was mostly a joke.
Mostly, but yeah,
Get out of character joke.
out of character joke. Okay. Well, nevertheless, you're given your pay. And, no. He takes let's see here. He takes half of it. So you only get paid 100. What? Yeah, you're only paid a half of it.
Because what's
You're
his
only
dick?
paid
The guy-
100 actually. Your pay when given is 200, but when you bump into Ranglo, he's the one who got you the job. He's the one who uses connections. He only gets half. Yeah, don't be Master Duke.
There's a very significant.
We're just gonna have to deal with the glow tax for a bit. Just
Okay.
Oh no, Glove has nothing to do with. He just did all the legwork of finding you a job and selling you up basically.
And I rolled 2 fat in that one.
You don't even know what he says about you, so.
Of course. Actually.
anyway, don't
That's
worry
great.
about the cash. I got.
All right. So is that all?
Okay, wait.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Now you have one last week. Is there anything you'd like to do for that?
I have a week after that?
Yeah, you only spent 2 weeks. All right. Actually, wait, hold on.
2 weeks in the feed, and then the last week.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't quite catch.
But I spent 2 weeks getting the feed, and then the last week doing that job.
2 and 1/3 weeks. Right,
Like-
2 and 1/3, 1 and 1/3 week training for that feat. The rest of the 2 were the rest of the 2/3.
2/3. Okay, so I have 2/3 of a week left.
You have 1 week. So in total, you only expended 2 weeks.
Okay, so I have a whole. Okay,
Math.
got it. I'm gonna start training for. I guess. Well, I guess I could. I'm thinking survival, nature, animal handling from skilled. I suppose because I need survival anyway for inscriptions.
You are also not in any city or any location that would have, a trainer or, in this case, any base of the any guild house of the Seven Nobles Guild. So you're going to have to roll an investigation check.
Okay, I see. I thought you were about to say I couldn't. Okay, let's not.
Oh no, you can. You just have to
11. That's okay.
All right. You ask around if anyone on the ship knows of, if anyone on the ship is willing to teach, essentially how to behave around animals, how to survive out in the wilderness, and what was the third one? What was the other one?
Animal handling, nature, and survival. I'm still iffy on nature, but that's the only. No, fuck nature. Wait, animal handling? Not animal handling. Insight. That's the only thing.
Okay. And someone who can teach how to better understand and to read people. Unfortunately, the crews. Unfortunately, the people. Whenever you ask, they aren't really not really sure if there is anyone. There might be. There's a lot of guess. But they don't want to. Either you're asking like a passerby, or if you're asking some of the crew. If you ask some of the crew, you can safely assume that they probably just don't want to bother their paying customers.
I mean, if they don't look particularly busy, yeah, you'll ask them.
Well, even then, when you ask around it, yeah. So, do you want to look again?
I don't have much else to do. Not about to do another job in the meantime. So, I'll make it a. I'll try more 14. I'm just gonna use 6 time.
Again, you try looking around. Can't seem to find it. It's a very large ship, mind you. Warp and ivory-clad, so...
Big ship. I don't know how long this has taken me so far. Would it be nice to know how long
You
it's
have
taken me so far?
one check left.
1 check left. Okay. I will. Well, I guess I'm future proofing too, so hey, 7. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
My investigation is great.
To find it. Yeah.
It's okay.
Alright.
Not bad. That's all, I guess.
Alright, is that all? Okay.
I'm
Flutter.
assuming I have no more time.
Yeah, no more time. It's the end of 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Flutter, are you there?
I'm here.
Alright. Have you decided, have you found, are able to say what Vera is doing for the next 3 weeks?
Yes, I can.
Alright. What would they be?
Guard duties, studying, and research.
Guard duty in the form of like a job that you'd like to take, or
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what jobs are available.
Ringo can find or is willing to find you something. Let's see here. He finds you something. Not a noble, but a sort of guild leader is having some trouble with some nosy people some nosy tinkerers and maybe some competitors keeping sort of trying to look over his shoulder when he's doing his research on basically some sort of ammunition for basically just ammunition for a different type of ammunition for firearms specifically made for beasts with very thin hide, for beasts with very thick hides. Sorry, why did I say thin? Thick. Basically, he would like to hire you for the week or 1 week.
Okay.
So you have 2 options. Actually, no, yeah. Actually, wait. Yeah, you have 2 options. You can either roll in perception to just basically keep an eye out around and try to intercept somebody that is trying to bother him, or you can roll investigation to see if you know if you can try to find out who's bothering him so much, and basically try to find who's trying to write up blueprints for this basically a beast hide penetrating ammunition.
Perception, definitely.
All right, roll it 3 times for me. That's normally.
Oh no, I have advantage because of my equipment.
From which magic item again? Sorry.
Sentinel Helm. It was Sentinel
Oh.
Shield, but we reflected it as a helm.
Yeah. All right. I forgot. Yeah. So with the assistance of your helm, you're able to quickly divert people that get either too curious or people that are just or people that are intentionally trying to look at his blueprints, and he actually he's quite satisfied with your work. He as well. All right, so might as well just check here. So for the quality of your work, he is paying you. Oh, actually, almost forgot. You only receive half of this payment, so I'm just going to say what you get in this case. You get paid 400 gold.
Is there a reason I only get half of it?
You only originally it was 800. No, but because he was the one who got you the gig, he takes half. So it's 400 gold pieces.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll trade it in for I'll trade them in for platinum pieces because I have 666 gold pieces and I don't want to mess with that.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, you're able to find. Well, they already have a currency exchange placed on the ship. Actually, notice they have a lot of things here, so not
If
out of
only there
the.
was like a higher currency, like I don't know, diamond pieces.
Mega platinum.
Nah. Well, in the meantime, yeah. Well, in the meantime, you do manage to finish the job and you get paid. Is there? So you have 2 weeks left. What would you like to do?
I'm going to. Oh, by the way, how are my animal companions handling this?
Let's see. Your wolf. He's handling. He's. People tend to look at him oddly, but seeing that he has, well, he has you at his side, and seeing that it's not causing too much trouble, nobody really minds it anything. Gives it a bother. No one
Has
bothers it.
somebody else petted it?
No, because it's a very big. Because it's a wolf, and they're often untamed. Anyways, moving on.
Vera has probably sent him out for to deliver a message on occasion on his own.
Yeah, and he has. But in terms of how he's been behaving, the only thing out of the ordinary is when he takes like maybe a little bit too long when he's out. But I mean, it might be anything. Maybe there's just some noble that complains about him. You haven't gotten any complaints directly, but I mean, or maybe some person getting too nosy about him and stopping it.
Or just more like Vera's concerned about whether or not he's getting seasick.
No, it's not your beast isn't exactly a physical creature, even though it exists in a physical state. And doesn't need to eat, so it doesn't really have the sort of organs or anything like that would essentially be associated that would cause one person to feel seasickness. And your penitent Nightjaw is, well, Ari's just there for a little ride. They don't really respond to much of anything. If you send them out to send messages or anything like that, they don't really mind all that much. They actually come back quite quickly.
Nice. Okay. Vera's just going to cuddle up with Ryuk and study for the second week.
All right. What specifically are you studying?
Maybe she'll go out on deck and study with the sea air. That would be nice.
All right. Well, what exactly do you study? Are you studying for a feat, or are you just trying to gather information on a specific subject matter?
She's studying her books, obviously. Let me double check which books. She's studying the book on Arcana and thematic magic.
All right. You can. Let's see here. In this case, you can roll either religion or Arcana. Basically, see like from what side you more basically from how you understand basically. Are you understanding it from from either you're understanding it from arcane caster's perspective or from a thaumatic caster's perspective? So, alright. Okay, you're studying for this whole week. Alright, it's actually it's quite interesting.
Actually, I'm gonna say that that's. Do they all have to be with the same role, with the same skill?
They don't
or
have-
Can I mix
they
and
don't-
match?
No, you can mix and match.
Okay, the second and third ones are actually going to be with. No, the first one's going to be with religion. The second, the other two are Arcana. They use the same modifier, so it doesn't really matter much. The numbers.
Very well. Then, in the meantime, remember to inform me of what you'll be rolling and what order and stuff. Not like all the time, but for the.
Yeah, I made that decision like a millisecond after I rolled.
It's fine. Just feel free to think about. Feel free to take a moment to think about what you'd like to roll.
Also,
I
don't
don't
do it
have-
before you roll.
I don't have a
Because
moment. I've got to
roll.
think my data from work.
If you do it after you roll, then there's going to be bias.
Yeah, that is also another problem. But in the meantime, it's fine. Just remember next time. So it's interesting. Some subject. It's the difference between arcane magic and divine magic are obvious. Divine magic casters are able to cast spells by basically through another being using a token or icon in the form of like an amulet or emblem or some artifact or some blessed object to basically as a focus. But of course, they can't use a holy symbol from another god and expect to cast a spell from their god. It's basically because because no holy symbols from two different gods are compatible. It's one of the downsides of clergies. But with as to arcane casters, where if it's a staff or a wand or a crystal ball or what have you that is made for casting a spell through, as long as and if you know how to cast a spell and have the not just the the verbal, somatic, and material components for it, but also like the mental part of it, where you're actively thinking about what you're wanting to cast a spell in some sort of pattern, as you're familiar with. It's it doesn't matter what arcane symbol you use or arcane. Why did I say arcane symbol? No, it doesn't matter what sort of arcane focus you use. It's gonna come out either way. Sometimes you won't even need an arcane focus if it doesn't require a material component. But in terms of, but the thing is that it's one thing that is that unites them both is that that magic is whatever effect they produce still has to go through the weave. A thread has to be plucked, not broken, but plucked, in order to cast a spell. Whether it be through a god who grants you this power, or another worldly being, or through your own knowledge and practice, the unifying thing that makes all magic the same, or makes magic and not just different different practices, and why your wizard's able to counterspell a cleric's say burning hands, is that it all involves the weave. It is the great unifier between all mages, whether you be a witch or a warlock or a cleric or a paladin or an eldritch knight or wizard. You pluck from the weave, no matter what. Even rituals, it's just how you go about it is different. All right, and let's see. In addition to that, you also know that there are some practices. Why am I hearing crying? Does anyone else hear that?
No, that's just
No.
you. I'm pretty sure.
No,
You
I
okay,
heard,
buddy?
It's crying.
I heard something.
I
I
thought
don't think it was
I thought I heard a baby
I
crying
heard
or something.
But isn't it?
Auntie, are you okay? Are you being cursed?
Oh wait, no, that's just the neighbors.
Not good.
Okay. Alright, hope the kids are doing alright. They were sick, had an ear infection. Oh, whatever. So moving on. So, yeah, that's what. So, you do also know that there are some there's some wizards that you've heard that are able to sort of it mentions it briefly, but sort of decipher spells, spell scrolls cast from written and created by druids, warlocks, bards, or witches, or whatever. They're able to sort of decipher them and cast them, decipher them and cast them themselves. It does. It's only a rumor, though. That's one thing that does catch your eye.
Could you repeat that part, please?
Oh, it mentions that there is a rumor of a arcane tradition that allows the students to basically if they were to find a spell scroll of a druid created by a druid, a warlock, or a druid, a warlock, or in some cases witches, they're able to sort of learn them. It explains that the rumor is that they are able to decipher them and cast the spells once they copy it into their spellbook normally, as if it were always an arcane spell. These usually divine spells or eldritch spells are available to these strange practitioners. There's no name, and it mentions it very briefly, but it's part of like in between the whole part of like the weave is the great unifier of all arcane, eldritch, or divine magic. Hello?
I'm listening.
Yeah, that's basically that's the one thing that catches your eye.
Neat.
Because it's not exactly something that is common. In fact, you've never really heard of anything like this. Not even in most books. Not even in classes or anything like that. So it catches your eye.
Cool.
All right, and that is the end of your second week. You have one last week left. Is there anything you'd like?
I'm just going to train my investigative skills.
Train as in.
Train for the investigation skill.
All right, that will require, ironically enough, an investigation to find a trainer.
I don't think that's what ironic means.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, wait, is that ironic because you're training for investigation? Well, you're rolling for investigation to find someone who can teach you investigation. Is that an oxymoron?
Yeah, it's an oxymoron, but it's not ironic because it's not not unexpected.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. Yeah.
Ironic would be like rolling persuasion for it.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that 12 does not. You're unable to find somebody.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say that since I have to leave to pick up my dad in a minute, like almost right now, I'm just going to use my Ross possession reroll on that.
Okay. And yeah, I'll roll it. Okay. Able to find a teacher. In the middle of the week. Yeah. And they're willing to teach you for a fee.
Okay.
Yeah, just let's see here. They're willing to train you for 200 gold pieces.
Okay.
All right.
So,
And
so like half
one
of my earnings
investigation.
from the previous week.
Yeah. So just roll a single investigation. Well, that'll just be the end of the third week. So yeah, we'll have to move on to the next person. Training's a bit difficult at first. The guy's method is odd. All right. You feel free to go ahead. We finished your. I think finish your off time.
Okay. I think that's that, right?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
All right. And now moving on.
If I have to go now, then farewell. If not,
All
then I'll.
All right. All right then. Hajime.
Ooh.
Master Duke, what does Hajime do?
Hmm?
Oh, right.
Oh,
Sorry, we're forgetting Lucid. Sorry, my bad. I'm so sorry, Bast.
Hey.
Do you know? What would you
What?
like to do when
Yeah,
you're
that's
not scribing the? So what are you doing for the 3?
Can I train Soul Warrior? I don't see why not. But I have
Soul
to.
Warrior? No. You're gonna have to find a trainer
But
for
I
that
can't.
here. It is, yeah. If you could find a trainer, a tutor.
Would it be reasonable to find a Scion teacher on this ship? Maybe it's a big ship.
Wealthy people probably have nobles often have very odd interests. It wouldn't be unreasonable to assume that they either have a scion on board, someone who's psionically capable on board, or that one of the nobles themselves is psionically capable.
Alright, am I rolling investigation?
Yep.
Alright, cool. That's a 27.
You managed to easily find a nobleman,
Got to
a
roll
human
stiff.
nobleman, who is sort of flaunting about that, how he's able to lift up that glass without even casting a spell with just his mind. How he's able to basically reinforce his mind in case of mental assaults.
I mean, that's something that's a little basic for what I'm looking for, but I'll approach him.
Anyway, it's like simple things, but with your investigation, you're able to determine that he's capable of more than what he's letting on. He's just trying to turn some heads.
Does he have like one personal glass that he's got that he's lifting around?
If you were to approach him, do you approach him?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as you ask him if he's willing to train you, he asks you if you're capable of performing, basic feats, lifting something with your mind without the use of a mage hand or any other supernatural, any other any other magical mean, or just he's asking so that way you don't waste his time.
I'll just lift up my spell book with my abilities.
All right. Puts on some glasses, nods his head, and says that he's willing to train you.
Excellent. What am I rolling?
Right. So because you rolled, because you succeeded, basically this doesn't consume any time in the week. You're able to easily find these. So feel free to roll in this case. You should say. Okay, noted. Let's see here. Remind me again. It was Psionic Warrior?
Yeah.
Or Soul Warrior?
That's called Feats for the Fearsome.
Which is by Mage Press.
Yes.
For the recording. So, check it out if you're interested in getting a crap load of feats for
A few. Enough. Nah, not enough.
it's a 17-page PDF, and that's including the table of contents and the front cover.
What do you say?
So it's a sizable amount. But yeah, so
So is this Arcana? I hope it's Arcana, but I doubt it's Arcana.
it is not Arcana.
Yeah, I think it's not really magical. Kind of. It's natural. What it is.
I need to make intelligence saving throws.
Oh boy, I'm still really good at those. Go ahead.
As it's basically when you're training for this, he's basically running you through mental exercises while keep in mind, not only is he having you perform certain mental exercises, he's also barraging you with a lot of mental assaults through psionic ability.
Cool. How many of these am I rolling?
3 for this week.
22, 18, 14.
You only get 2 out of the 3 in this case because the 14 was too low. So roll once more. As we're going to the second week. All right, you managed to finish your training. It appears. I mean, you get a little headache, but it's not as bad as it was the first time around. Maybe because he's more gentle, or maybe because he's actually maybe because he's competent. But he's your head doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah. Cool. After this, I will ask him if he is capable of more advanced feats than this.
Persuasion.
Persuade. I'm not very good at that.
And he's mostly doing this so that way he can brag to other people how you are able to hear it, like when you're on the ship. He's just bragging about how he's the one teaching.
Modified 1.
All right. Are you sure you don't want to use your once per session reroll?
I mean, I can. It's like,
I mean, anything, as long as you don't nat 1, anything's better.
Question. Is it like, could I gain advantage if I postured myself in such a way? Oh, mighty Scion, your abilities are so great, I just wish to gain just a mere fraction of your wisdom.
Oddly enough, no.
No?
Oddly enough, not for this guy.
Oh, that's strange.
With simple posturing. And if you want, you can roll an insight on to see if you can find out what would what would have him willing to teach you more advanced stuff. You notice that he, looking back, you remember he also often visited the gambling hall quite a bit. And whenever he came in, whenever he was barraging you with mental assaults while in the gambling hall, he always came in with a very heavy coin purse. But you're noticing it's a lot smaller now.
We'll lose a little bit down at the gambling hall, didn't we?
All right. How much are you willing to pay for him for this?
I'm willing to pay him. I don't care. I got money.
All right. How much are you willing to pay him?
Willing to pay maximum 100 plat.
He is not only willing to teach you the more advanced techniques, but also his he looks at you up and down and basically says that once you become more experienced in the world, find him. He'll teach you his most powerful skill set.
Can I get a name if that's the case?
He says he's been working on he's been workshopping the name of such a skill set, of such a ability, but he thinks overmind is what he would be accurate to describe it.
Well, I was more asking for his name so I can track him down.
Oh, his name? Oh,
Yes.
Then yeah, he'll tell. So basically, he. One moment. Okay, you're not gonna believe this, but let's see here.
Come on, tell me this whack hack's name.
Isaac Strange. Isaac Strange.
What a guy.
Yeah, he's a nobleman who lives in the Abrani Union, and most of his
family.
His family are all divine and arcane practitioners, but he finds it all boring. So he's been looking into other forms of manipulating reality to his will. And it's found that this suits him quite well.
So he will agree to train me if I pay him the agreed 100 plat.
He's willing to pay you whatever you'd like, except for his apex ability.
I don't think I can.
As he views you as not being as experienced, he doesn't want to end up resulting in you being harmed.
Yeah, that's fair. How much am I paying him then?
Well, it's 100 platinum for basically all of his services for free.
Cool. All right. And then for the next, the rest of this week, and I probably won't be able to get it this week and into next week, I assume more intelligence saves?
Yeah, basically. Actually, no. This is persuasion and insight were on the same day as you completed your training. So yeah, you can roll in this case for the next week for the second.
More intelligence saves? 3?
Yep, three saves.
Hey, 27, 21, 20.
So which one are you training for? Psionic or Psionic Adept?
Simon.
Okay. You start catching on quite quickly. It's you actually start catching his his pattern, where the way he leads up with a sort of almost concussive, not physically concussive, but mentally concussive force. As he follows it up with a sort of mind numbing ability, causing you to sort of almost falter a few times, but you manage to pick up on what is somehow like almost his thoughts in a way, like what's going on in his head when he's doing it. As you do get the Master feat.
Woo. And for my last week, I'll ask him if he's interested in some more basic training to just reinforce his skills, that being Psionic Adept.
Yeah, he's willing to train you in that. This is for the last week, so 3 intelligence saves.
Hey,
I'm sorry, just... So this is where all my luck went last... This is where all my luck went last session.
Fries can also confirm.
Session I was trying to turn someone into
Oh
a
no. This is where mine is. You shut your mouth.
No. This is and before I roll, and mine are shit too. He's stealing the luck.
So,
for some reason, I just roll really good when it comes to training.
alright, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy. I might have overloaded myself.
How did you roll for this?
16.
Alright.
That's not bad.
Pick a physical saving throw.
What?
Pick a physical saving throw.
Physical saving. Oh. Does con count?
That is a physical saving throw.
Cool, we're gonna go with con.
Alright. As he does this, as you perform this, you start to notice, you start to practice with it. He begins to blast you with a lot more physically concussive force when you're in training, essentially a dueling. for Mage Arcane Kit for spellcasters and martial artists, fighters, warriors, whatever. You notice that when he does, you begin to feel a lot. You're able to concentrate more on the effects of in the case of more focus on concentration spells and things like that, and things like that. Things in using your Constitution saving throw. As such, you have gained the Resilient feat as well for Constitution.
Fuck.
I can hear your rage.
Huh.
Does that just give you proficiency in a saving throw, I assume?
Yes.
+1 to the score.
And a +1 to that score.
And, cool.
So, and that is in the Roll20 compendium. You can drag and drop that. Make the quick edits, and you don't even have to type it all down. Just drag and drop it in. Right, is that all?
Well, my time is up, presumably.
All right. Now he tells you that if you were fine, he'll tell you that if you cannot find him in, let's see, if you can't find him in Garagos, you can find him somewhere in the world. He wants to basically travel the world, see its sights, that sort of thing.
All right, boys. Lucid gained 4 feats.
Huh.
Featuring is very balanced.
Is completely balanced.
Yeah, totally. Nothing but balanced.
Fuck microwave noises.
Oh shit! Sorry.
It's fine, mate. So let me just.
Shit was up.
I'm fucking idiot.
Well, that's my section done. Unless you want to go into the amount of detail with the shard mind person, which, while I am intrigued, I have spent far too much time and spent far too much of everyone else's luck. So,
Well, you just say that you spent
shard
some.
minds can have sex.
no.
No, they don't have genitalia.
I thought it was like a resonating thing where they just vibrate next to each other.
They vibrate really hard.
No.
They
but-
grind on each other.
No. Okay. No. Stop it. Stop it. No.
They
That's not gonna get any. No, definitely not. No,
See, that's just
you're definitely gonna start.
It's called.
You think these were getting monetized?
I was never
This is
planning
a-
on this being monetized. I was just hoping that this would at least not get
That's just.
fucking shut down.
Fucking late.
Anyways,
rumors of
moving
what
on,
people
moving
think
on.
shard
So-
mind sex, it's actually just us introducing ourselves.
So, moving on. Let's just.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let
No,
you
that's
down.
copyrighted too.
There's no way if I've ever written.
You were most likely gonna get that for some reason or other. You
Anyways,
can't really tell.
so, You can say if you want your character to spend time with her, then it's fine. It doesn't. We can just say that you're just converse with her like when he's taking a lunch break.
Well, I mean, the training takes 8 hours a day, and I'm presumably not sleeping 16 hours a day, so I should have extra.
Yeah,
Of course,
you're able to.
more than 8 hours a day, otherwise it's stuff or bad stuff. Yada.
All right. Next is Hajime. What is
Yes. Well, first thing, I did purchase book, the book on dressmaking, and I'd like to read it, study it, gain that feat.
All right. In this case, I'm assuming you're going to be using your own, not the Pride silk, but your other clothing in preparation.
Yes.
Your
So
thing.
I can hunt down that feat, but it should give me advantage on Weaver's tools, and my dresses now sell for twice the amount.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Posted resources so I can check it, just refamiliarize myself with it later. But I think I know what you're talking about. So
Okay.
yeah.
What am I rolling?
In this case, it would be Weaver, but with intelligence instead of wisdom, or instead of dexterity. But sorry, because you're studying and you're sort of memorizing the sort of methods they have mentioned.
Okay. Hold on. I am at query attribute. So, Weaver's tools.
Using your intelligence.
Yep. Rolling normally.
Uh-huh.
There it is.
All right. 2 more times.
Ooh.
Hello?
Yes, it's rolling.
Okay. Any second now.
It's coming. Oh, it's coming.
Any second now. See? Red! No, wait, that's blood. Oh, God. Now I'm sad again.
So we still have problem.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh.
Now I'm 17.
Okay.
Oh, there's one.
Yeah, so that's 2.
23 and 15.
And
Any second now.
I inputted the third one, so I don't know where in limbo it is, but it's somewhere in limbo.
God, why? Okay. Well, nevertheless. So, guys, how's your week been?
Fine.
Pretty good. Well, not great, but all right.
Oh, there.
There it is. Okay.
Okay.
You only make the first 2 checks. You only finish the first 2 checks unless you'd like
yeah.
to reroll this last one.
I'm gonna save it for working on the Pride Silk because,
Yeah,
well,
that's a good idea.
yeah, I'm gonna save it for the actual working on that. So I'll go into the next week.
Okay. Roll one more Beaver Tools check. I'll tell you when to stop. I'll tell you when if you need to roll again or if you've succeeded.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So with that 26, yeah, you managed to get the feat. It's difficult. You fortunately don't cause yourself to bleed, but you manage to complete it, and actually you start to feel hungry again, within the second week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, if maybe I just get some fresh sunlight or something, whatever.
Yeah.
But let's see. I got that feat. How much time do I still have? Like a week and 2/3 or something?
Yep, we can 2/3.
Okay. So
You want to work more on the design?
Yeah, I'll start work. I'll spend the 2/3 starting to work on the design.
Mm-hmm.
I'll spend the second quote unquote week working on the design for the dress. I'm gonna go like the Spanish type of design. Now, when you say Spanish, do you mean like Spain?
Italian. Or sorry, not Spanish. Italian.
It's Italian.
But the dresses are the same. The dresses are sort of similar in a sense. There's a lot of similarities. Spanish would be Resh.
Resh? I thought it was
I forgot. Yeah. Yes. It's a different. Yeah, my bad. My brain is all dumb.
Yeah, because
Simple Spanish stress. Yeah, that's easy to do.
yeah, because that's what I'm going with, kind of European Spanish, kind of in that area, like Spain.
And because of the things offered on the ship, you might be able to get some books on traditional Avrani Union dresses and the such.
Ooh.
It comes, and you don't have to worry about pay. It came with your ticket.
Okay, so I'll hunt down some of those resources and start working on the design.
It's all bell ring away. So.
Well, I'll ring the bell.
All right. Roll in this case. Roll a history tools check for because you are unfamiliar with this design. So yeah, you're just
Normally?
basically researching it. Yeah, normally.
Ooh. An 8.
Now it's 1. Roll once more.
Oh.
Are you going to accept that natural 1?
I'm gonna re-roll that.
All right. Go ahead.
A little better.
Yeah, it's not. It's quite simple. The design. Really, the complexity comes in the frills, and even then, the frills, which you do remember some, which you are familiar with. There's some similarity there with that Erytherian attire, or Erytherian Chicagoan and some Chicagoan attire that's sort of serenized. Maid outfits and the such, which were quite the rage in the Chicago Roll Empire when they hit the markets.
Okay.
Weirdos. Anyways, so you managed to finish your training, or you've not finished your training, but you managed to finish your knowledge of your studies for this, for the most part. It takes a little bit, but you come with a rough draft of the dress. You need to create like a test. You need to create like essentially a prototype dress using like similar materials to actually make it. But you have some you have the skills to work on this. And because of your feet, you have an advantage on it.
Okay. Yes.
All right. With that, all right. With that high of a roll, let's see here. Yeah. You managed to finish you begin the next week with a prototype dress. It doesn't take you quite as long to find something a material similar enough to Pride silk, where you realize Pride silk is very, very thin, almost as thin as a hair. So you end up asking for some essentially like horse, some like animal, some specific breed of animal hair that's about as thin as human hair, or your hair, to basically try practicing it. It is difficult work. Fortunately, it's not the actual Pride silk, and you're able to do it well enough. But you realize that while this is close enough to the thinness of Pride silk, looking at it, it's going to be difficult. Where you realize, well, yeah, this is going to be a very challenging dress. So, what that means is that normally you would have disadvantage on making on checks to make a dress made of pride silk. However, your feat that you just got evens it out, so you roll more.
Okay. I'll start actually making the dress. I want to spend the rest of the 2/3 week to mingle with some of the upper echelon.
When you're not working in the sun, or not working in your
Yeah.
dress as much.
When I'm not diverting time, I want.
Okay. Mastic, are you there? Connection issues. Sorry, folks. He's Yep. So how's the rest of you guys' week been?
Yeah,
I had a massive panic attack on
sort
the
of.
That sucks, man. Oh,
Okay.
I can hear you,
My,
Mastic.
my dog may have permanently injured her leg on Monday.
Oh.
Yeesh. That's not good. Mastic, sorry. Where were we? So
Is it if I'm mingling with people and bridging connections? Is that something to roll to do checks for, or is that
that
just
is
like what?
separate. That is a separate role. But I'm assuming you're doing this like when you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I want
You're conversing with people.
Yeah, but I want to. It specifically, I want to make connections, make some friends in high power.
All right. In that case, well, first things first. Roll Weaver's tools with your. Assuming you're switching it back to your dexterity modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Roll your Weaver's tools. Normally, not with advantage. Normally. Ooh. Okay. Roll once more.
Come on, come on. I need that bless up.
You're able to start making a good bit of the dress. You're able to start, with the base. You measure yourself. You check you get the dyes and the such. You're able to make most of it. The only thing you sort of need to wait for, is, well, obviously because you've done so much, is to wait for the newly dyed silk to dry, as it takes a disgustingly long amount of time. But it's from the Nine Hells, so it's kind of expected to be a bit of a pain to deal with. And with that, I will need you to roll performance checks to sort of cavort with nobles.
Do I gain this advantage because of my diplomat feat?
Yes, you do.
It's rolling. It's in the ether somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Have you guys watched any interesting movies?
Just watched the Justice League Dark movie, the new one.
Oh.
Really good.
Yeah, I heard it was really good.
Oh yeah, no, it like continues the story of like the Justice League universe that like they made with Flashpoint and all that.
Yeah. Oh,
The
and Master,
thought-
I need to roll performance. I said performance, not persuasion.
Oh.
With advantage. It's still with advantage. Do you have what's your modifier for performance, though?
A 3.
Okay, so just let's see.
Might I ask why this is a performance roll?
Oh, it's still good. We'll just count it. We'll just reduce 8 because you have expertise in persuasion, and it still comes out at an 18. That's still pretty good. So roll once more with advantage.
Okay, let me actually do a performance this time.
Yeah.
It's in the ether.
Mm-hmm. Just okay. Wow, that was faster than before. Good to hear. Good to see. Good to see. With the 22, all right, with those checks, you're able to make quite the name for yourself, despite your age and your level of maturity. You're quite entertained. You're able to hold quite the conversation with most noble families. Most of the noble families. What in particular? Let's see here. This one. Let's see here. The noble family you're able to hold you get the most attention from is actually kind of depends on your character's personal philosophy. What is their opinion of
Uh, how so? Legally, morally, religiously?
all of the above?
Uh, she finds them interesting. She loves their culture, the Germanic culture.
Germanic,
That they have.
Spanish. There's Germanic, Spanish culture, yeah.
She likes the cultural aspect, the idea of you like the whole necromancy, some of the more morally
And
I don't know
legally, yeah.
legally gray things is interesting. She may not necessarily agree with it, but she doesn't have anything wrong with it.
All right.
And like governmentally, she doesn't really know much about their government to have a opinion on.
Hmm.
They're legally the laws, the stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it. You have a pleasant conversation with this Reshian, or as some people prefer, Reshite, noble family that sort of, they put simply, they're lawyers by trade.
Oh,
They like conversing with you, and their family is primarily composed of half elves and mostly half elves. They're very pleasant to talk to. They're quite friendly.
do they have a family name?
Yep, they do. Would you like? Yeah. So the name is this.
I just want to know so I can write it down in my. I can actually have it written down in the character.
Yep. And let's see here. I'll just write it. I'll just write it down here. Just so that way you don't get this mixed up, because I know how confused you are with Spanish names.
There you go.
go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that ends your downtime. So Flint, we need to get this done quickly. What would you like to do for the entertain, dance, entertain?
I have a few
look for
ideas indeed worked out. Alright, so he's got to do a set of a few things. Of course, he's going to perform and all that. You can't miss a gig like this.
Yeah, your gig is essentially in the second week. So the second week you're going to be performing. You're going to be performing the entire week. You are going to have breaks. There are other people. There are other musicians that are going to be playing before and after you, but you're going to be performing for the entire week. So that's the stipulation.
One of the feats that I'm training for in order to get a gameplay thing in there is apothecary, so that way I could have him make medical kit.
All
And
right.
he picked up a book on it. So
Okay.
what relevant skill do I roll? If it's medical, it's always with advantage because one of the feats that I picked up is bullshit.
Yeah. This would be a medicine check. Again, though with advantage. To basically study it and better retain and comprehend the knowledge of most humanoid physiology. It has several sections. So okay, two more times for me.
Alrighty then.
You're able to pick up
Man fucking
the
excels
lessons
at
of the
this
book
shit at this point.
quite nicely. In fact, by the time the week is over, you're not dissecting anything, but you're sort of like mentally imagining a body and sort of imagining, okay, in this instance of injury, I would treat it with such and such. Don't pull out any protruding foreign object. Apply a tourniquet to prevent any excess of any to slow down blood flow or try to stop blood flow in that area in case if I need to amputate, that sort of thing. So yeah, you finish this first week with that, and I will need you to roll 3 performance checks.
Oh, so man just finished the feat straight up in the first week because the man excels in medicine.
Yeah, you're quite the gifted physician, so to speak. No, not legally
The fucking
recognized.
fantastic. Now we can make even things like basic poison as well, because that's the thing it does.
So roll. So I need you to roll 3 performance checks for me.
You said I should flavor these, right?
Yes.
Alrighty then. So, using magic and the distortion effect that he had a while ago, man pulls off a performances that could only be described with very angry. That's a pissed off violin.
All right. Roll 3 performance checks.
I'm using a thing, so they have. Because this is basically just another asset that he uses anyway. Hold on, let me pull it the fuck up.
All right.
It's a level 1 fucking spell, but it lets him control another instrument on top of this.
I'm familiar. Yeah, I'm familiar with
things like God damn it! Let me
Baby metal.
shift to the bot channel just really quick. I know it was there. The name's off my mind. If you've heard things like Justice Waters of Nazareth, think of shit like that without the fucking weird breath instances.
And for legal reasons,
and focusing on more of the dirty, grungy, angry tone of the instrumentation.
Yeah,
as he flows into it from a more sad beginning.
All right.
As the song slowly gets angrier and angrier.
All right. And
for
legal reasons,
a climax of fucking righteous fury or some shit.
All right, and for
now
legal
that I
reasons,
described that.
Yeah, and for legal reasons, just quick thing. And for legal reasons, we are not playing that music. We're not playing it. I don't want to get copyright claims for a video that's even not going to get that's definitely not going to get monetized.
So using the effects of unearthly chorus and whatever, I roll these with funny advantage. And the man excels.
So, okay, sorry, I just need to process it a bit. To say that your performance was a smash hit would be mitigating it a fair bit. suffice to say, you each night for the entire week, not just you, you hear whispers whenever you walk down the ship of you essentially living up to owning being of the uh, of the Weiss's label name. The hype, basically, basically that the hype is for
He's got
you
word
being
of
a
mouth, and the
musician.
people are his hype men.
Yeah, you got word of mouth that you are that you really are worthy of being of the Weiss's chorus or musicians, one of the very special musicians and the such. It's and in total, well, I'm gonna roll it physically. Actually, I'm gonna roll it right
This is a
here.
gig with a. This has got to have a lot of cash, since these guys are
It
basically
is.
just a ton
These
of.
are nobles, and this is for ticket sales, mind you, which are all sold out. So there is a maximum.
Sadly, we do not have merchandising yet.
Yes.
That's gotta
Otherwise,
wait.
you'd go up a dice step.
I mean, not yet. Wouldn't you?
All right, and
Wouldn't you want a little plush, Flint?
So,
Yeah, more like a minute.
all right. So in total, with keeping in mind the royalties for Rainglow for setting you up and allowing you and setting you up to perform in the such, you earn 8,500 gold pieces.
Ooh.
Or, if you wish, because there's a bank here, 850 platinum.
800 platinum. All right, that's
850
pretty
platinum.
damn
Yeah.
good for a. I'm just gonna say that's pretty damn good. I'm tripping over my words.
Well, keep in mind this is also a cruise liner that that takes care of the rich and wealthy. So there's going to be a lot of people who have more cash to flash.
All right, let me pull up the calculator so I could add that in.
All right, and of course, let's see here.
So I had
this
a third
comes...
thing on the brain.
Yeah. Now this actually, one moment, because this does come. I almost forgot to mention this does come with some upsides and downsides. The upside is, well, aside from earning a lot of money and a lot of fame, you also have people are more likely to do like small favors for you, like, oh hey, do you mind telling such and such that I need to I need to speak with him like in a few minutes. But it can't be anything they wouldn't do normally, like throw themselves off of the ship or something like that. It's small stuff.
That's only there for the crazies.
Yeah. The downside is that
You got the crazies.
people are that, and people are going to easily recognize you, and you may need to certain things may be more difficult as fans will attempt to stop you, want to talk to you, and you also won't be able to perform this until the next month. You won't be able to perform until the next month, as you need to essentially write the song, everything of the sort. That you do passively. And also, Rainglow needs to
cruising up the ladder on mere practice alone, just fiddling around.
Yeah, and Rainglow needs to basically set up another gig.
Organize gigs.
Yeah, organize gigs. Because as much as he would like to have you play every single once a day, which itself rakes in a lot of money, he wants to let the hype boil a little bit. Let it settle. He wants it to the hype like yeast and bread to rise, as he says. Delicious bread. But yes. And you have one last week to do something. Will you just be doing
I'm
that?
gonna make more connections in high places.
Alright.
Would you
Cool.
have Hajime help them out in getting connections to the high class?
I would say you'd be spending time with Hajime to get to know the people of higher society.
She has more experience naturally in this sort of thing.
Yeah. I'd say normally, because, she's rolling for herself. She rolled for herself already, and, and actually, actually with advantage, because you do have your fame, making it easier for you to talk to people. So go ahead, roll 3 performance checks to essentially spend time with the much more wealthy folk.
More performance checks with advantage. This thing keeps it fantastic at.
But
God, I
on the
avoided
other
a
side-
nat one.
Yep. Okay, so
He does have a little
actually-
bit of fucking
You got a bit of
common
charm.
person bullshit in him.
you don't even know how, but for some reason you just turn up the charm to 11. You start to make you turn a lot of heads, particularly, actually, in a runny noble family. They like to speak with you about because you do have a shared interest in medicine. Both of you like to both. You and this member of this noble family, this Avrani noble family, like to talk about how to integrate medicine, traditional and magical and arcane medicine, or physical and arcane medicine, or not arcane, magical healing with sort of together, like breaking making sure to cut off circulation before you cauterize with a flame blade or
Using
whatever.
both techniques essentially to create better surgeries and everything.
Yeah. And also, both of you converse about things like magically resistant diseases and such. It's quite an interesting man. All things.
Now this is the fucking connection I can get behind. Rubbing my hands together over here because I can finally have medical stuff into the limelight and have a connection about it. Whoo boy. Tell me their names.
Well, the noble who is in the ship that you are speaking to is actually a man by the name of. Oh, come on, stop it.
DM me these
Now it decides
names. I
somewhere.
need to keep these in in the connections and other things,
Alright.
organizations and whatever.
No, this is the name, and forgive me if I do mispronounce it. The Rabbi Ashtika. He's also trained. He's actually to describe his physical appearance. He's human, very dark caramel skin. He has a full beard, sort of that's well kept. It's not like a beard that sort of drapes down across his drapes down, but it's it's a well kept, shaved and intentionally kept short beard. As he has his hair, it's quite wavy and sort of stops like around his ears. He also has quite the thick mustache, which is far more prevalent. So he has a beard mustache combo.
Man's rocking maximum fancy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could swear I could add a fucking monocle and a top hat to this man.
I mean, yeah, but that's like serene. So, anyways, that does finish up your week, your break. And now, Nods. What will
I'd
Datura
say
do?
that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Datura, what do you do? Nods, are you there?
I like to train for Seek Phrase with Ronaldo.
Okay.
Rather the hedge magic to get Seek Phrase.
Alright, he's willing to teach you. He knows how to do it since he's not interested. He's capable of defending himself, but he's not interested in other spells. If he can defend himself with it, that's great. If it makes his life easier, even better. He's a lazy asshole. Best kind of asshole. So yeah, that will be in this case. Arcana. Actually, no, this would not be Arcana because both of your warlocks. This would be essentially a charisma check. 3 times for me. See if you can pick up. Alright. He's not training you with anyone else, so okay. You do make 2 bits of progress for the first 2/3 of the week. It's difficult. The spell cantrip is quite boring, to be honest. But then you start to get into it when you realize, oh shit, I can use this on books to ignore the boring parts of it and get to the parts I'm actually interested in. So if you wish, you need 1 more success. Would you like to continue over the next characters things over to the second week?
Yeah, I would.
All right, roll another charisma check.
Fuck.
Roll once more if you wish to try to get it. The dice gods are cruel. Dropping a natural 20 and then just weaning you out for the rest of the ride. Anyways, once more. Wow, the dice gods really hate us.
I have a 21 in charisma, guys.
You spend the next week realizing,
I
wait.
feel sad for you.
If I don't.
I rolled my
if
shit
When you
because
try
it
to-
got advantage and absurd modifiers.
When you guys, when you trying to fucking learn a spell, but Bay keeps trying to fucking make out.
Nah, he's not trying to do that. He just.
Bitch, I'm talking about Tatura. Every time he gets a little close, she tries to kiss him.
Alright, let's see if he notices that. Are you joking or are you being serious?
I am explaining away how everything has gone this badly. So
Alright.
I'm serious.
But
Good
do you
lord,
wanna
this
roll
man
with
is
it,
as
though?
thick-headed as a titanium bolt.
This man's got
He doesn't even notice your
harem
approach.
protagonist dense. He's gonna get a harem.
No, he's not that dense. But moving on, do you want to spend the next final week doing this?
You should use your once per session reroll ante.
I'm not.
But it's funnier this way.
Guys,
All right, fine.
sleep.
It's fine. Let's finish this up. Well, he rolled a 5 plus modifier, so no, he doesn't notice your approach. It was worse.
Okay.
The original was an 8.
I'd like to spend the last week getting to know Ronaldo more and learning more about the coin conspiracy.
All right. Roll persuasion because he wants as much as as much as he does believe that you are a member of it. Yeah, you have to convince him that rookie like you or low-level member like you is willing to know more intricate things that their teachers probably would not have mentioned. But you do have an advantage.
I would like to re-roll that.
Go ahead. 16. He's after some adorable negging, or not negging. After some adorable
Teach me.
pushes, he's like, All right, fine. And he'll essentially, over the course of the week, I guess to retain the information would be just a straight wisdom. Two more times to see how well you are able to retain the information.
Oh.
So for the first 2/3 of the week, it's absolutely intricate shit that you just cannot like. It's coming in way too fast. You do capture the fact that warlocks of the currency conspiracy are able to sort of exchange currency, like platinum to gold to gold, 10 gold for 1 platinum, 1 gold for 10 platinum, 100 copper for a gold for 10 gold pieces. Yeah, no, not for 10 gold pieces. Oh yeah, actually, is that no? You know what I mean. You call an exchange in terms of monetary stuff like that. But for the final, but you do understand that one thing, at least why the currency conspiracy is as it is, and why it's basically deep underground up until what they're going to try to do. Basically, when the churches were founded, they were not exactly a church. They were more of a business, and well, suffice to say, they did not take kindly to a being that was not a god that well has control over the flow of money. So they tried to put restrictions on them and the such, where they respond, where the leader at the time. Well, let's just say the restrictions were less than to be desired. Usually physical threats and the such. As such, they replied in kind, and because the Arcana was so powerful at the time, well, they were forced deep into that up until recent. And with that, that is the end of your week. So, let me just roll to see if anything interesting happens on the ship here. Oh,
The tour gets thrown overboard.
no. There's a murder. There's a murder on this ship.
Next.
Oh!
Murder
That's been
mystery.
reported. Next session when we return next week and stuff. So,
Ooh,
Alex, you can stop the reporting.
Honestly, for downtime.